of you are seeing me for a second time, and some of you are like, what? This is the first time. And that's okay, because I don't go live on all channels all the time, blah, blah, blah. So this is on all channels. So I am here with my friend Michelle, and we're going to be talking about Big Think, because a lot of times people are like, what is that? And also, why does your stuff work so well? And I'm just going to say, the reason that the stuff works so well is almost all of my programs in the beginning of them have Big Think. And Big Think, just to give you like a sort of lay of the land real quick on it, Big Think is really, it's any program at the beginning should have a mindset piece. It should address mindset, because if you don't believe you can do a thing, you will not do that thing. I'm not talking about manifestation. I'm not talking about name it and claim it. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm saying if you don't believe you can hit a goal, you're not going to do the things that it would take in order to hit that goal, because you believe it's going to be a waste of time because you don't think you can do it anyway. Why would you waste your time? Simple as that. So, Michelle, what has Big Think done for you, lady?
Oh my goodness, what has it not done for me? I feel like it's life changing. It is life changing. You ask all the time, is there anybody that feels like maybe they don't need it and you realize you needed it? And I'm like the first one with all hands up. Like that was me,
Yeah.
because I am by nature super positive. I'm a rose colored glass type personality. I see the positive in everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to buy that course. Like I already know that. Why would I spend the money on something I already know, feel, and assume that I could do?
Exactly.
Totally wrong. I should pay for it every month. I go through it every month, and it is life changing. And I think for me, I was trying to think why. Why was it life changing? Because as a positive person, why? And I think for me, my background comes from insecurity and anxiety, less thanness, and all that. And I think for so many years, you live your life assuming you are the way that you are.
Yeah.
So do the best you can with what you have.
Yeah. That's what we're told by like
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you don't know that that's not normal. And you don't learn the big, beautiful word neuroplasticity until you meet Martha Krejci. And I'm like, could you spell that?
Nope.
I never heard that before. No.
That's that totally. I'm just putting people comments up here. Hey, Darlene. Darlene's
Oh,
commenting from the plane. She's
oh,
heading to Zermatt.
hey.
Um,
Yay.
uh, yes. So uh, most people in our sphere or in our world are in some sort of personal development of some sort, or they're in church and they're doing that. I mean, that is personal development uh, to the nines, right? That is everything. And so sometimes we think, well, I don't need anything else to be helpful along with that. I already am doing my thing and I'm doing my thing. Well, that's that is true to a point if you already understand these things. So what we go into in Big Think is really, so up until about age 7, you guys, I'm not going to get super nerdy here, but I just can't help myself. Up until about age 7, you are developing what will be your identity. And it's just until age 7, okay? So imagine the things that you were told about yourself. Maybe stop being so loud, or stop doing that, get off that, be careful, be careful. The be careful one is a hard one. I am a mom of today, a 9-year-old, and I still tell her to be careful, but then I also say, but be careful because I love you and I don't want you to hurt yourself, but also this is going to be awesome. So like as parents, we even learn how to be able to talk to our little ones, because we know what's happening to them. So up until 7 years old, they're developing their identity. So the things that we tell them, and the things that here's the clencher, I think, is that the things we believed that someone else believed about us. Do you see why I slowed that sentence down? So it's even our perception. What we believed someone thought about us, that also became our identity because we don't know any better. And so we just took that on. We're being told who we are, right? Except the thing is we don't start actually using logic until we're 12. And so imagine that. Imagine up until 7 years old, you've got, there's this identity that's been created for you. And in all of those moments that maybe somebody said something irresponsible, chaotic, or messy to you, out of frustration, out of their own whatever, people say messy things to kids because they think kids will forget. The opposite is true. Kids are taking it on, okay? And so those things, those messy things that were said to them, as a 7-year-old, you don't even have the logic to say that's not true. And so what happens is as we grow up, that is still anchored in our identity. And so what Big Think does is it peels away all of the things that were never true. All of the things that you believed about yourself that you picked up along the way through, again, irresponsible, messy, and sloppy language from people. I'm not saying they meant to do it. I don't assume negative intent, but the fact remains is we're responsible for what we are now, right? And so what we do is we peel all of those layers off to be left with just who God created us to be, period. And then we work from that place. And so it's really just kind of getting all of this garbage out and off so we can approach our lives the way God designed us to. And then that's all. So it's not any sort of like magic program. It's a deprogramming, really. So what is it do? Like, what are some things that you're doing now, Michelle? I just talked a lot. What are some things that you're doing now that like maybe you thought you weren't going to be able to do? Or what are you surprising yourself with today?
Oh my goodness. Let's see, where do we start?
Yeah.
Because I was going to take what you said a step further too.
Oh,
Is
do it.
that
Do it and then go
as a
back to.
okay? Because we
Yeah.
could talk for days
I know,
about
right?
this.
We might. I don't know.
I will piggyback on what you said. Is that when you said that we carry it on, and you called it out in the Big Think, is that you said even as Christians, we can be irresponsible, I think, with our messaging of what humility actually looks like.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a big thing for me too, because what you said is in the Big Think, you were talking about how people said, don't think too highly of yourself. And then, of course, we know all the word says to be humble and to put others before yourself and to consider each other better and to, know your part and your place. But who assigns our place? And that goes back to, sure, maybe in our past we assigned our place or our insecurity, our anxiety. But what about actually asking your creator, which again, I love that in Big Think, it's not just a normal personal development. Here's your code and here's all the letters and numbers and all the colors and whatever of what you are. How about ask your creator?
Yeah.
Like I could still hear you say it in my head, ask your creator. So even when I get in a funk place now where I am scared or nervous, I'm like, okay, but God, what do you have to say about this now?
Yes.
Instead of me trying to figure it out in my little brain of logic, which is really fear-based,
Yeah.
and because we have an enemy, obviously,
Yeah.
that doesn't want us to shine and move forward.
Yeah.
So for me, the peeling back of the layers has been learning to dream, like just in the practical sense. You take us through dreaming again. You start as this little kid just having these beautiful dreams, and then you get into the world and you realize how hard it is and how hateful it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that success really is for this very, very small few people. And then you help us redefine, but what is success?
Yeah.
What is your mission? What is your dream? And I'm like, well, I don't know, because I've lived my whole life small And I've lived under the expectations of what I thought I had to be for
Yeah.
a Christian leader, as a mom, as a wife, as just a friend or a neighbor, whatever. And so to figure out now, well, what does God say about me and what is my mission?
Yeah.
That's exciting because I know
Yeah.
what I want to do. I know what my dreams have always been, to love and encourage and help people feel seen and heard, because that's my heart, because I didn't feel that way. And
Yeah.
for most of my life, not just childhood, for most of my life.
Yeah.
And so I feel like now God wants me to help. He just tells me this whole year, fan the flame, to lift and encourage and fan their flame. So that's my goal now. My worship is through writing. I love to write, not really speak so much, but I know God's saying use your words out loud too. So so I am writing mostly, but I do want to step out. And thanks to Big Think, what this year has really been for me is being more courageous in my dreams, which really my dreams are part of what is my mission and what is he asking me to do, and just full out surrender over and over and over with something new. We can actually do something new. You're not stuck in what you are.
Right.
So
Right. Well, and we're
yeah,
called to do new things, right?
yeah.
Um,
He
it's
says renew your mind.
it,
And I was like,
yes.
that's what Martha said. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well, Martha said what he said. That's, he's not quoting me. Let's be very clear. Don't let somebody take that
no,
sound bite. They're like, well, Martha's trying to be God. No,
Martha.
listen,
No.
I'm very clear on where I'm at in the totem pole, and it ain't nowhere near. No.
Yes, but the word comes alive. Like I've said it forever. We say that to each other, renew your mind. Think of
Yeah.
these things. Philippians 4:8. Think on these things. And I do think on these things,
Yeah.
but I think on these things in hopes of other people.
Yeah.
I will bless you and bless you and bless you. But then I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, but not me, for them. Lift and encourage
Yeah.
them. Because if I can help fan the flame of other people, but then I'm totally allowing the enemy to take me back and really take me out of my mission. And it's not it's not me standing in courage. It's me standing more in fear based and not being full out surrender and full out open to what God has for me. So my little
Yeah.
bitty mind of just encouraging people through my blog has now opened up to what is possible. And I don't know what all is possible. That's why I'm still doing Big Think every month.
Which is so cool. I do it all the time too, you guys. I made the thing and I
Yeah.
do it all the time. There's never a point where we can sit back on our laurels, so to speak, and be like, well, I'm good now. Because that's exactly the time that the enemy's going to knock you right off whatever it is that you were doing and whatever it is that you thought you were going to, be able to accomplish with God and everything. Our surrender, I think that I love living in surrender, and I love that you keep saying that word. Living in surrender is everything, guys. But
Mhm.
living in surrender, there needs to be a component of confidence in living in surrender. You have to be confident enough to
Mhm.
live in surrender, or else you feel like it's a free fall. When you're confident in God taking care of you, like He's taken care of you time and time and time again, right?
Yeah.
Looking back on those moments where there's no other way. There's no other way you would have been okay. And even in, like, you're not in Big Think yet, if you're not or whatever, and that's totally fine. What I would do, you guys, is I would start journaling. And I'm not a journal. I don't journal like every day. I'm not that, but I do write things down. Like, so as I think of them, I write things down. And so, but if I were to like start a journaling thing that I do every day, I would do it for maybe one day. And then I wouldn't do it again. I have ADD, right? I'm not going to do that. But I can't commit to something like that. But I think one of the most important things to do is to look back through your life and to see, to with eyes to see where God has taken care of you, where He has picked you up, where he has sent someone for you, where he has pulled you out of something, where he has blessed you, right? Writing all of those things down gives you all the confidence you need to move forward in full on surrender. We are in full on surrender to God. As a family, we're in full on surrender to God these days. And it's because we know that he has picked us up out of everything, that he's the reason that anything works. And he's also the reason that some dreams didn't work, because they would have destroyed us. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, to be able to
Mhm.
be so confident in the surrender that you're able to say, I'm okay with not getting something. I'm okay with not getting dreams, because if it's
Mhm.
God's will for me to not get this because he wants me to do something else, or because he doesn't want me to go through something that would bring, that's full confidence in God to say, like, listen, I'm in surrender. I'm doing this thing. And then watch God move in your life. When you're in full surrender, guys,
Yeah.
and you're like, whatever you have for me, that's he's just, I feel like God is that meme or that gif of I can't remember his name. But it's like the guy down by the stream where he kind of looks over at you and he's like, I feel like he's the gif of that, where he's
Yeah.
like, all right, now let's go. You
Let's
know,
go.
like that. I feel like I'm just, and again, I know that's not God, right? But that's what that is to me. It's almost like when we finally say, all right, I give it up, I give it up, I give up, right? I don't want any of the control. You lead. And then God's like, now, let's do something, right? And then people are like, well, I can't believe all these things are happening. Really? Do you know the God we serve? He's done some things. I'm just saying. Oh my word. Michelle, what do you
That is
what do
so
you have to
awesome.
say? I feel like you got something bubbling over there.
I love it. No, oh, we could seriously
Mm.
talk all day because insecurity for me, as much as I don't want that, bat signal, if y'all done the bat signal, that's part of my bat signal. I don't want to talk about that, but if insecurity is exactly why it's triggering the anxiety, it's why we don't move forward because you don't feel worthy, you don't feel called, you don't feel equipped, you don't feel. It's like when I just pare it all the way down, it goes down to the root of insecurity. I don't think I'm worthy. I don't feel like it's somebody else could do it better than I could possibly do it because they have more experience or they're prettier or they're smarter or they're more linguistically talented or whatever. But it's like, but what about me? And what about my place here? Can he still use me? If he can use a donkey, he can use me. He makes new things. And do you remember that time when you broke your shoe at the conference?
Of course I do.
Do you
I do
remember
stupid stuff
Staples?
at places. Yeah, I remember that.
I was thinking about that and I was like, you know what? That is a beautiful and exact illustration of what we live our life like.
Yeah.
We were at a conference and she had on her cute little shoes that she loves. And we were walking down and you just started kind of slowing down. You're like, I'm not gonna be able to walk that fast. And you started slowing down.
Yeah.
And it was because your strap had started to come out.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, well, and I'm a creative, fix it, make the best of the moment,
Yeah.
person. So I'm like, oh, let's just go get duct tape or staples or something just to get you through the conference. And then maybe we'll go shopping later. And you were like, okay. So you walked slow and up the escalator. We got the staples. We stapled the shoe. We made the best of it that we have.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if it broke again, we would have found some super glue somewhere.
Yeah.
Instead of, did we even have the thought to ask, does maybe they sell the exact same pair of shoes there? Do we not feel like we are worthy and deserving of, could we just ask for a new set of shoes? You don't even know that that's a possibility unless somebody calls it out. And I feel like most of us, our whole life, we are stapling ourselves and taping ourselves together and gluing ourselves and just paper clipping because this is all we think we have to work with.
Yeah.
And Big Think is like, no, there's more options. You have more
Yes.
options. Open your mind to see what's possible. And I was like, oh, maybe a new pair of shoes would work.
Yeah.
So for me, that was like, there's something with being authentic, but there's also something about renewing our minds, renewing our hearts, and being
Yeah.
authentically who he's created us to be, because he didn't create us to be small.
Yeah.
We're not just limited into what we know, which is why another thing you call out is community. That's
Yeah.
why groups like this and communities like yours and you being such a gift to empower people to show what's possible. We have to surround ourselves by other dreamers and people that want to serve and impact the world, not just impact the people around us, although, yes, we want to impact the world because this is a kingdom mindset. I have a kingdom mindset. I
Yeah.
want to impact whoever he calls me to serve and love and be. And what does that look like? I don't know,
I don't
but I'm
know.
here for it.
Exactly. Exactly. And then I think the last thing that I'm going to say, I love that. I love that, by the way. Um, I remember that day. I was like, doggone it. Of all the times, it's the beginning of an event. My shoe's broken. Literally the beginning of
Well,
the day.
but you could have made it through, and that's what we do with our life. You
Yeah.
could have made it through, and
Yeah.
you did with the staples. But then what if they came back out? And what if you kept over and
Yeah.
over, and we just keep temporary fix, instead of truly being renewed or
Yeah.
truly being healed into something new that is solid?
Yes. I love it. I love it. And then the last thing that I'm going to say, kind of around that subject, just because I mean, this is a good conversation to have, I feel like, um, is, is that a lot of times God is going to send us exactly what we need. It just looks dissected, if that makes sense. It
Mm.
looks, so a lot of times we pray for a chocolate cake, so to speak, right? And then God sends us the flour and he sends us the eggs and he sends us this and he sends us this and he sends us
Mm.
this. And then we're like, well, God, I want this chocolate cake, but it doesn't look like chocolate cake. Well, it's, we also still have to take part, right? We take part in the doing of the things. He's giving us what we need. He's sending a person to you. He's sending this to you. You've got the things that you need. You just need to put them together, right? And sometimes the putting together of the things requires prayer to even have that light bulb moment of like, oh, it's all here, right? I hit my knees the other day. It was within the last month because it's around the Cyber Monday thing that I did, right? I had all those things. All of those things existed. I had run it live before. I was not thinking of running it live again. I hit my knees and I prayed and I was like, God, what do people need? Like what do you want me to do here? And later on that day, that same day, light bulb moment, these light bulbs aren't our own. Can we just also say that these light bulbs aren't us? Okay, like let's stop claiming light bulb moments. You ain't that smart, okay? Neither am I. But light bulb moment, and it was like, run it live. That's what people need. And then it was like, add this, add this, add this, add this. And I'm like, this is so good. And it was like, well, no, duh, Martha. Even when I was telling Danelle about it, I was like, Danelle, I feel like so stupid because this is so simple to do. And I didn't even think about it. But it was those things. It's in prayer that we're going to get that when we ask for wisdom, he's going to
Mm.
give it to us. But if you do not have an active prayer life, do not expect to be getting good communication. I'm just going to say that. Communication is a two-way street, right? And to have a relationship is a two-way street, and it's not always asking for things. My prayer was, how can I serve the best way, right? And God's like, this way. And I'm like, oh, you're good, right? You're good. And so like that, I just want people to be thinking about that as well. It's sometimes you have all the ingredients, you have everything that you need. You just don't know how to put it together. And that requires prayer. It requires a relationship. Anything that you
And
want to
big
say?
think.
And big thing. And big thing.
And
It's
big think.
helpful.
But I feel like I think it's the practical steps. If you're somebody who likes to have, which I think is one of the the characteristics of all of your programs is that you're very much a step by step. Like this is how you do it, and
Yeah.
this is what it looks like, and this is how it aligns to our Lord.
Yeah.
There's that part too.
Yeah.
So I love that I can be in the Word and I can be reading, and God's like, okay, I need you to get this message out into a book. And I'm like, I don't know that I can do that. And he's like, oh, well, then here's Big Think. It can help you do that. Oh, and then here's HBR. It can also show you how to do that. And I'm like, hashtag no excuses. Okay, he provides. When I was ready, he provides. And he will always provide.
I love it. Hashtag no excuses. That's it. That's it, right? Okay, well, now you got everything and you're
You got what
aware
you
of
need.
it, which means now you have to do things.
Now you have to do things. And Big Think and HBR and Jumpstart, like it's all. It's you've created such a beautiful, capable, faith-filled, full lifestyle that is what is soul satisfying. Because it is for me, even when I hopefully mentor and I'm mentoring people, it's body, mind, and spirit. And your courses and everything that is in the Marthaverse hits those. So we need all of it. It's just beautiful.
Uh, well, thank you, lady. I didn't mean for you to come on and like edify me and stuff, but I should have
Well,
known because it's Michelle and that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna lift you
but
up.
I'm all about resources. I mean, I love networking with people and I love helping people because I don't know that I have all the answers. I am not the guru
Yeah.
for body, mind, and spirit. I'm not teaching a Bible study. I'm not leading workouts. I am not teaching about things. I'm here to love and encourage and point people to resources.
I love
So
it.
I point people to HBR that are wanting to step into ministry. I point people to Jumpstart who are tired of chronic pain and want to feel lifted and creative and renewed. So yeah, sorry. Sorry,
I
not
love it.
sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. That's right. That's right. Well, Michelle, thank you for coming on with me this morning. We could
Thanks
talk
for
all
having
day. You know how
me.
this goes.
Yes.
We would. We would go
Yes.
drive to Park City and grab a cappuccino and drive back and talk the entire time, sing praise music.
Oh yeah.
You guys have the best day. This is just a video to kind of give you an idea about Big Think, but really also just to maybe trigger something. Maybe God can speak to you just even in these moments, you know, of what your next steps look like. You know, don't ask for the entire road. You don't want to know where you're going. Okay, it's going to freak you out.
Mm-mm.
You need to know the next
Mhm.
step so you can take the next step. Don't ask for too much. Don't ask what you don't want to know. I promise. Okay. I love you guys. I will see you later. Bye bye.
Thank you.